So today, I want to tell you guys the story of when I bought my first house at 22 years old. So I've been at my Airbnb for a week now. I loved it. It was so much better than a hotel or hostel or guest house or anything else that I've ever stayed in, because I actually felt like I was at home. I felt like I was a part of the city. So that was amazing. Highly recommend Airbnbs because they were very, very cheap. I was paying, came out to about $30 a night Canadian. Again, a little bit more pricey than I want to pay for one person, but for two people, $15 each, well worth the money. So I was gonna go check out. I got rid of the cat. Sorry, I had to get rid of the cat. Basically what happened with the cat is Zoe's brother has like 10 cats. He adopts cats and takes care of them. And I was like, what's one more? Can you take care of another one? And so he gladly took on another cat and he's gonna raise it and take good care of it. Next up, so I talked to the owner of the apartment and I let her know that I wanted to stay in another room, but I wanted something a little bit cheaper. And so she got me a cheaper room for $19 US a night, which is $25. And it's just a floor below me. And I think it's a little bit smaller, but it's basically the exact same thing and I'm saving even more money. So I'm gonna be here for at least 2 more days. I don't know what's with the city. It's just like, I just can't leave it. First I meet Kim and then I fall in love with a cat and it's crazy. It doesn't want me to leave. But I need to eventually get out of here. I need to go to Phu Quoc and I need to see more of Vietnam because I hear the middle of Vietnam is just amazing. So I'm gonna leave this city eventually. I'm just getting too comfortable here. It's bad. So this place literally has the exact same things as my other place. It's got fridge, it's got washing machine, it's got an oven, it's got a TV, it's got everything that I had before, and I'm paying less for it. I think it might even have more. It's got like a hot plate and shit. It also has a, well, it's not a crock pot. I thought it was a crock pot. It's a rice cooker. I messed up. And I really love this piece of art right here. My other place didn't have that, so yeah, I kind of like it more, believe it or not. So maybe that's a tip, that like every time that you go to book something on Airbnb, if it's like a guest house or you know they have more units, maybe just ask the owner, hey, what's your cheapest unit that you have? Because you might just be overpaying because of Airbnb and they might just be showing you something that's the most expensive unit they have when they actually have cheaper ones available. So keep that in mind. If you're booking on Airbnb, just maybe reach out to the owner first and try to get the lowest rate possible. How do I, what the, where? The outlet's here. I'm telling you, they're just, why? Why? And that is how you make a healthy, affordable breakfast while traveling. I want to tell you guys the story of when I bought my first house at 22 years old. So I just finished college and I was living with my best friend in like a 2-bedroom apartment in London, Ontario. Now my best friend and I, we'd lived together literally forever. We went through university together, went through college together, and finally he was moving to the big city, he was going to Toronto, and I was still left in London. So we had this beautiful 2-bedroom apartment that I loved so much, and I couldn't afford the rent on my own, so I was forced to move out when he finally moved to Toronto. Now keep in mind that I didn't have a lot of money at the time. I just finished college, so I was paying off student debt, and I was working for a place called Boston Pizza. I was literally just like a pizza delivery boy. So I was making like minimum wage and tips, and I had to find a nice place to live on my own. And the thing about me is I refuse to settle when it comes to anything. Once I've had a taste of the good life, there's no way that I'm going back to where I was before. So I'd lived in this beautiful apartment with my friend, and I loved it so much there, and it was just like this 1,200 square foot huge place that we shared together. And when you're paying with 2 people, it's super affordable. But then when you go out on your own, it's super hard to find an affordable 1-bedroom place. But I was like, I'm going to find something. I'm not going to freaking live in some shithole place. I'm gonna find something gorgeous again by myself. So my roommate and I, we were paying like $1,400 a month to share this place. And I started looking for places alone, and they were like $1,000, $1,100 a month. And I'm like, that's a lot of money for someone that's making minimum wage. And then like, keep in mind, you also have to pay for like internet and TV, and like utilities were included, but it was still just like so much money on my own. And I remember looking and trying to find a place, and I was like, Mom, I just can't find anything in my price range that's like really nice that I'd feel comfortable living in. And I'm like, everything is like $1,000, $1,100. And she's like, wow, like if you're paying that much money, why don't you just buy a house? That's how much a mortgage is. And then like the light bulb turned on. Now owning a house, that was like my dream. That's what I wanted more than anything else on the planet. See, growing up, I was different. I was not like the rest of the kids in my class. I was not focused on getting drunk and partying and doing all those things that teenagers do. I was focused on my future. And a lot of kids just, they don't think about that type of stuff. It's just not top of mind. It's just not something they're raised to do. And I don't know how it happened, but I just started reading about financial literacy. I started reading about investing, and I grew up with a single mom, and I didn't want to have to go through what she did. I wanted to be financially free. I wanted to be able to have the money to give myself an amazing life. Like money, it's not the root of all evil. Money gives you options. Money gives you freedom. And that's what I wanted. I never wanted to have to struggle like she did. And so I started teaching myself about investing. And this was when I was like 15 years old, and I would buy all these books on investing, and I just wanted to be able to retire by the time I was 30. That was my dream. And I knew that real estate was something special. It was something that could give me the opportunity to live an amazing life and not have to put a ton of effort into it. So instead of looking for properties to rent, I then started looking for a property to buy. And I remember talking to my best friend and telling him, hey, like, I'm not gonna rent a property. I think I wanna buy something. And he's like, you can't buy a house. Like, that's crazy. You're not gonna be able to afford buying a house. And I'm like, no, I can. Like, I'm gonna do it. And he's like, no, you can't do it. And he like dared me to go buy a house. And the one thing you never ever do is tell Joel Popoff that he can't do something, because I will prove you wrong. And that's exactly what I did. So I began my search for my very first home. And I used a couple different real estate agents and was taken to a few dozen houses, and it was just like, I just hated the experience. They were way too pushy. They were just like way too salesy, and I just couldn't handle dealing with a real estate agent. So I was like, I want to just buy a property straight from an owner. And I used a website called Comfree, which is like a buy the owner type of website, so you can avoid commissions and real estate agents. And when I was looking on Comfree, I was trying to find a property right next to the university. London is literally like a university town. That's all the town revolves around, is the University of Western and Fanshawe College. So student rentals are in extreme demand. And I found this perfect little 4-bedroom property, this little brick house that was located steps away from the university. Now this property was very old. It was built in like 1903, but the previous owners put a ton of money into it. There's this beautiful brick fireplace with like a TV insert, and there was like crown molding, and there was like gorgeous hardwood flooring, and then they had these like wooden beams, so it was like this old school charm, and then it had this like modern type of feel to it. And it definitely wasn't perfect, but there was something about it that just made it special and unique. And I'm like, I can take this and I can turn it around, and I can make a lot of money off this property. So a good friend of mine, and I guess you could say a mentor of mine, who was also a property investor, he had a lot of really good contacts, and I wanted those contacts. So he gave them to me, and I reached out to his mortgage broker, and I got pre-approved for a $250,000 mortgage on December 1st, 2012. So on December the 4th, 2012, I accepted the mortgage offer, and then I finally closed on my very first property, January 2nd, 2013. Now you might be wondering, how the hell did I have the funds to pay for a down payment for this property? Well, that is a very, very good question. I'd been saving up for this for a long time. Remember back when I was like 15, 16 years old and started reading about real estate investing? That's when I started saving up for it. I knew I wanted to buy a property when I was really young, so I prepared long time ago. And so I'd saved up about like $6,000 to put towards the down payment, and then my mom lent me an additional $7,000 to help me out. Now, I refused to take handouts from anyone. I paid my way through college, I bought my first car, every single thing that I owned, I worked my ass off for. I refused to take money from people that I have not worked for. And so the exact same thing went with my house. I said, Mom, thank you so much for lending me this money, but I'm gonna pay you back every single dollar. And so I did. I paid back the full $7,000 eventually, and then I wanted to pay her in interest. But instead of paying her in interest, I took her on a trip to the Dominican Republic. Believe it or not, I even started marketing this property before I even owned it. I was so eager to make money from it. And I was like, it was like do or die for me. If I didn't get this mortgage paid off right away, I was screwed. So I needed to get tenants in there immediately. So I used my marketing talents to advertise this property to as many students as possible. And it was just crazy the amount of people that wanted to stay here. It was something like 25 viewings of groups of 4 students. That's like 100 students going through my property in a weekend wanting to rent it out. So then I felt like American Idol judge. I had to just select the group of tenants that I felt was the best fit for the property. I selected the group of tenants that I wanted, and I got my place rented at a premium because I partially furnished it, and students love that. If you make things as easy as possible for your tenants, you will get as much rent as possible from your property. So that's what I did. Then in September, I finally made the big leap, and I packed up my stuff and I moved to Toronto and started working at a marketing agency, and that's kind of how I built my marketing career. But I was able to manage the property like remotely from Toronto, and now from Vancouver, and now from like Southeast Asia for the past couple of years, and I haven't had any problems. The property still has been perfect. So my tip for all of you guys today is to take your money and invest it in assets. An asset is something that puts money into your pocket. A liability is something that takes money out of your pocket. You might think that your car in your driveway is an asset. That is not an asset. That car is not making you any money. It is not an asset. It is a liability. If you buy a property and it's giving you rent, that is an asset. You have income coming into your bank account every single month, and you're doing nothing. Okay, I'm starving hungry. The sun is currently going down, so I'm gonna go grab some food. Dopest delivery vehicles on the planet. Vintage. God, you gotta love that. It's so different out here. It's actually really nice to spend today alone. It's weird how you kind of like go back and forth between wanting to like be with people all the time and then wanting your own space. And it's like I've been around people way too much, and it's just nice to like focus in and just like do my own thing and be by myself today. So I was recommended this restaurant, but everything on the menu was super fancy and I had no idea what I was ordering. So check this out. This is a little tiny steam bun. It's got pork, and then there's like peanut sauce on the top. This is amazing. That should be on the dessert menu. That's like one of the the most incredible things I've ever tasted. That's so good. My next course came in. Also, not fully sure what this is, but it looks really good. This is pickled herring. This is mushrooms. This is chili mayo. And then this is rye toast. Legit. That's really good. Oh yeah. I'm actually not a huge fish person or a mushroom person. So I don't really know why I ordered this. Try something different, I guess. It's good. I'm glad I got it. My final dish for the night is sesame cake with peanut brittle, warm caramel sauce, and coconut ice cream. Okay, I always say I want to have a bowl of popcorn before I die. No, I want this. I can't talk right now. This is the best thing I've ever had in my life. I'm speechless. Just finished my dinner. That was amazing. I got that steam bun thing, and then I got the fish and like rye toast thing, and I got a Coke Light, and I got a beer, and then I got the dessert, and my total came to $12 Canadian. That was like fine dining. That's like under $10 American. It's crazy. I don't understand how people don't come here and live like this. Like shit. I'm glad I tried different stuff out. I'm really trying to make an effort to actually like try out different things I would never ever try normally. That was a long day. I'm gonna head off, get some work done, then get some sleep. I love each and every single one of you guys. Stay focused, my friends. Please like, subscribe, and turn on your notifications to receive a brand new video every single day.